it's just not a one-way relationship. You know? You know what I'm saying? It's not a one-way relationship. It's a two-way relationship. And it's cool because when we connect with him and we just say, Jesus, in this time, I'm giving you everything, he comes and he embraces us as we embrace him. It's like this incredible love relationship that we get to have with him. And it's amazing. And so just like you have it here right now in this moment, you get to have this outside of here. You get to have this when you go home. You get to have this in every moment. You get to live this lifestyle of worship. And so I just encourage you guys to continue that. I encourage you guys, if you don't have, if you don't know, how to even enter into his presence, how to pray, put on some worship music. It's going to make it so much easier and so much better for you to get into his presence. I just encourage you guys with that. But Sydney's going to come down. I think she has the questions for us. You get the questions there, right? All right, cool. And we are going to start our relationship Q&A, guys. Woo! It's going to be good. Do you guys know the last one of these we did was online? Crazy, right? This is crazy. It was online. We were on both YouTube and Instagram Live. And to be honest, dreaded every moment of it because we were staring into a completely empty room with nobody in it. And it was just, it was hard. But I'm glad that we can all be here and we can all be together for this. So guys, you guys glad we get to be here together? Like, we all get to be here together. Like, it's crazy. Like, these moments, we have to value these because I feel like there's been so many moments where we haven't been able to be together. So, Sydney, come down, make your way down. Give it up for Sydney, guys. Let's go. Hey! Awesome. For those of you who are watching, welcome online. We got our live stream up right now. So welcome to all those who are watching online as well. Relationship Q&A time. For those of you who don't know, we're actually always online. I know some of you are surprised, but we actually are always online when we have our youth night. So, yeah. But do we have our, should we hand out papers for them to be able to, no? Yeah? Oh, so we could put all the papers down. I was thinking that we were going to do. Oh, okay, never mind. We don't really need to send them. Just put that down. Cool. All right, what do we got for the peoples? Huh? You what? You ship us. Thank you. But I'd like to say before we start this that, like, just so you guys know, like, Sydney and I, like, we're coming to you from a place of not knowing everything, but actually just living this life with God and having him walk us through so many different things, even before we were married, and just like, and teach us so much along the way, through our mistakes and through our moments where, we made right decisions as well, and so we're speaking to you guys today just from a place where we're not trying to come above you and, stomp on your heads and tell you what to do, but we want to come underneath you. We want to lift you up into something greater. I mean, because I want you to know that what the world offers in relationships, God has so much better for us, all right? So we just want to be able to share our hearts with you and what God has to say. So, yeah, it's cool. So what do we got? Do you want to start?
Put on pink lights. Yeah, can we make that happen, please?
Yeah, can we make it happen? Let's get some pink lights over here.
Thanks, Ben. Ooh.
Oh. Okay. Wow, look at that. We got the romance going now. We just need some R&B music and we're good to go. I'm just kidding. We're good. Okay, so do you want to start? Do you want me to start? Or you can start.
Well, I think we should just start off by, there's a lot of new faces here.
Yeah.
So hi. Oh, hi. I'm not going to introduce all of them, but we'll introduce us. For anybody who doesn't know, this is Daniel. I'm Sydney. I'm going to go like this because I feel like my back is to you guys. Daniel and I have been together since 2016. Yeah, it's a long time, I guess, but
16. 25.
That's classified, but I am 42. 42. I'm kidding. No. I'm 25. I'm 26. Daniel's 25. Yes.
So we were together from when we were 20.
Yep, we started dating when we were both 20, and then we got married when we were 22, and we've been married. This is our 4th year of marriage. So we know a little bit, guys, so. I'm so sorry if anybody wasn't invited. Maybe one day we'll have another wedding, and then. So sorry. So sorry if anybody's offended about that. So a little background story about me and Daniel, though. Guys, listening, please. Friends. Daniel was essentially my first boyfriend. Yes. And Daniel had 8 million girlfriends before me. So we're both coming from, Daniel used to be a player when he was not a Christian. But, so we're both sides, guys. Like these two Christian people who have like never seen the world and like don't understand what happens, you know? So, if you guys have a question at all, you could just come up and put it in here.
That actually would be a good idea. Write on the paper there.
But I have some from last week that some people, I don't even know where to start.
I printed some off.
I know, I saw them.
Okay.
I'm not sure where to start.
Well, why don't we just, we'll start with the questions and we can end by telling them our testimony.
Okay.
Yeah? You want to start? No, I think it's okay. You can
Okay.
start. I'm going to just take the mic from you when I need it. Start with the first one. Or,
This is Q&A, so this is everything you have questions about relationships. I mean, if you want advice, we'll give advice.
you can ask the question. That's part of it too, right? All right. Okay. So, first question, all right, is I'm waiting for a relationship. What should I be doing right now? That's a very good question. It's a very good question. Well, what should I be doing right now? Well, first thing I would say is that the fact that you're waiting for a relationship, that I want to just make you realize, see, because there's sometimes when we focus on so heavily on that waiting for that relationship, we actually miss out on so many other things, you know? And I want to let you know this, that actually in the midst of you looking for that relationship and you're waiting for that relationship, I want you to know that actually there's many things that God wants to work on with you. Because sometimes what happens is that we're actually waiting for somebody when actually what God is wanting to do is to shape us for somebody, you know? Instead of waiting for the right person, it's becoming the right person. So that actually it's a very different way of looking at things. So when I think about this question, I think of what should I do in this process. Well, I would say the first thing is, you know, what we tend not to do a lot of times, but I think, you know, I'll just give you an example. Like for me personally, coming from a place where before, you know, I got my heart broken and I broke people's hearts and there was a lot of hurt, you know, in between. And I think in that process of that, what helped me when I gave my life to Jesus was actually realizing that first and foremost, their heart is his and my heart is his as well. So, all right, God, that means if you know our hearts, then why am I not praying to you to bring me the right person, you know? So what I began to do is I began to actually pray and just ask God. So I would ask you guys right now, how many of you are actually, this is not a question, this is a question I want you guys to think about. It's not a question I want you to necessarily respond to. How many of you are actually praying and asking God for the woman or the man that he has for you? I want you to think about that question. Because to be honest, if we do it our way and we just begin to go from our emotions, a lot of times is we do get hurt. But when we begin to pray and we begin to bring this thing to God, it actually becomes something that now we're saying, God, I'm going to let you lead this area of my life. No longer am I going to be in charge of this, but I'm going to let you lead it. So that's what I would say. Do you have anything you'd like to add to that?
Sure.
Cool.
I would also say, while you're in the waiting period of a relationship, just become your own person.
Exactly.
Like really, truly dig deep into who you are, what you like, your hobbies. Be your own person first, because if you get into a relationship and you don't really know who you are, you don't know what you like, what you don't like, you won't know who you are just because you're with somebody. So I would say just continue like growing in your relationship with God, growing in your hobbies, like, all of those things.
Here's one thing. Actually, there's one thing I actually say, and I actually learned this from somebody. There was somebody that was a mentor to me as a youth, and they actually taught me this, and I was like, wow, I actually going to take this in. And it was like, he told me, run after God with everything that you got. With everything that you got. An example? How do you want to do an example? I guess we could, I don't know. Do you want to lead the example then? Because I have no idea what you're thinking.
Okay.
Here.
Okay, I need 2 volunteers. Okay, you 2, come. Okay, Naomi, this is an example, guys, of what we should be doing in our walk with God and with in a relationship. So Naomi, I want you to run as fast as you can. Okay?
Can I take off my boots?
No, you don't need to take off your boots. Okay, just run fast, okay? And you guys will link arms. Oh, wait.
No.
Maybe we'll, yeah. I need another volunteer. Okay, Bella, come.
Oh, we almost had another one.
Okay. Okay, I want you 2 to link arms, okay?
How do we do this? Okay.
Either link arms or hold hands, whatever you feel like you're more secure with, okay? So Naomi, I want you to run as fast as you can. And Bella, do not let her run. Okay?
Can I first stable myself?
Stabilize yourself, do whatever you need to do, okay? Ready? Okay, go. Okay, do you guys see this struggle? Okay, now Bella's running. Okay, guys. You want to try it? Okay, we'll do another example. Good job. Thank you, ladies. You can go sit down. Okay, we're just going to do one more. Maybe we'll do... Okay. Actually, I have a different... Okay,
Ready?
Okay. Right, okay, wait. Noah, you're going to run as fast as you can? Okay, Z, you're going to not let him run.
People can help you.
Okay.
I'm not running.
Oh, either way.
I'm running.
Okay, yeah. So you...
Ready?
One of you has to run and one of you has to not run. Okay, ready? Go. Okay, wait, I need you guys for one more time, okay? Noah, I want you to stand on this pew, okay? Okay, Z, careful. Try pulling Noah down. No, Noah, you have to just stay in one spot. Just let him pull you down, okay? Like, not let him, but just tug his arm down. Don't hurt him, though. Okay? Now, go back up there and try to pull him up.
Oh, nah, that's impossible.
Try
Do it,
it.
go, go,
Try
go.
it.
Am I supposed to try to go up?
No.
Like, how are you going to do this? Right? It's not easy, right? So, no, guys. Okay, thank you very, very much.
Give it up for Noah.
Okay, good job, guys. Okay, guys. So, the example was this. When you're running with somebody and they are not running at the same pace as you, that's not going to work in a relationship because that person's going to hold you back. That person's going to distract you, and they might even hurt you. In the second example, it was so much easier for Z to pull Noah down than for him to pull him up. So another thing to remember in a relationship is that you guys are, as the Bible says, equally yoked. That you guys are really running together, that you're on the same level with each other, which leads into one of our other questions. Is it okay to date somebody when you're not both Christians? I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think it's okay? Do you think? How would you guys feel about that? Like, if you consider yourself a Christian, because I know, right now, we're all, everybody in this room is at different spots with the Lord. Would you desire to date somebody who is, who has the same beliefs as you? Or would you not? No? Same beliefs. Okay. You could just yell your answers. Yes, you would want someone with or without the same beliefs as you. It depends. I don't know. Like, is this a trick question?
Z's got some.
Okay. Noah? That's called flirt to convert.
Flirt to convert.
We don't endorse that.
Oh man. So yeah, what was this? So how do you want me to respond on this?
What are your thoughts?
Yeah. So this is what I would say to that, guys. I'm just gonna be completely real with you. I'm gonna be vulnerable with you guys. Okay. So.
Is this story time?
No, well, just slightly. I'm not gonna go deep, but I'm just gonna say I've had, as a Christian, after I've given my life to Jesus, I had like 2 relationships before Sydney. More like 1.5, because one doesn't really count that much. But point being is that in the midst of that, you see, I entered this really just, I really, first of all, there's a couple things. I didn't really know where they were at with God. I didn't. And the second thing was that even though when I did find out where they were at, I still tried super hard to make it work. And change her. And to be honest, it brought me into a weird place. Disaster, it's probably the worst relationship I was ever in, to be honest with you. But to be real with you, me saying this is to say to you this, is that the Bible actually says to not be unequally yoked, And what that means is not talking about egg yolk, okay? It's not talking about your breakfast. What it's talking about is it's talking about, in the Bible times, there was something called like an ox, and they would carry a thing on their back called a yoke, and there would be, on 2 sides, there would be different things that they would be carrying, right? But now I want you to think about it this way. If one side was heavier than the other, they wouldn't be able to carry it. As a matter of fact, it would fall off. And that's what would make it unequally yoked. And so that's the same thing with like somebody in your relationship that you want to be in a relationship with. When you really think about it, if you're actually going to go after that person and you don't know them and you really don't know where they're at with God, you just enter in, and then you find out afterwards where they're at, and it's not where you are. I'm going to tell you right now, what's going to happen is it's going to tilt, it's going to fall off. It's not going to work because you're unequally yoked. And so that's really what it is to be in a relationship like that. So I would say, that's why I say, when you run, keep running towards God. And maybe you can look over every once in a while. If you see someone's running with you, he or she is running with you, then yeah, you can run and you take a look and keep running. And then if they're still there, you can keep looking and keep running. If you notice that they fall off and they're not running with you anymore, keep running. Because that means that God's got someone better for you. But if you're running and you notice that they're keeping up, and as a matter of fact, they're encouraging you and you're encouraging them, well then, you know what? That's a good sign. And that's a sign where you keep running and you keep pursuing God. And as you pursue God together, because the objective is to become, if it's like this, it's a triangle. All right? You want to reach God. And so if he wants to reach God and she wants to reach God and you guys are both going this way, it's going to work. Because it's going to create the perfect triangle. So that's what I would say for that question. What's the next question on the list? Okay. Yeah. How do I know? How? All right, guys. I see. I want you guys' attention for just a couple more minutes. We're going to go through these things. Again, like I said, if you have any questions that you haven't asked but you want to, you can bring them up here, and we're going to answer them for you. Or message them to us. You can DM us on Instagram as well right now. I'll try to get them to you. All right. So the next question is, how do I know there is the one? How do I know there is the one? I'm going to let you take this.
There's no one. I'm so sorry, guys. I am so sorry to crush all of your hearts, but there's no one. Guess why? Because when God made you, he gave you all free will. This is my opinion, okay? If you want to argue with me, you can argue with me. But the thing is, if there was the one, then we wouldn't have any free will in our life. And God gave us free will. Since the day we choose to live for him, we could choose not. But that's why you see some people get into relationships thinking somebody is the one, and it's not. I don't think there is. I used to think there was, but also we live in a sinful world. So what happened if that one person didn't choose you as their one? This is just my opinion, again. What I do think is that you can pray for that person. God has already written your whole life out. He knows your whole life. So of course there's going to be somebody that you will marry. But if you're constantly searching for that person who is perfect, which, by the way, nobody is perfect, and by the way, also, like Daniel's story, you cannot change anybody. I don't know if anybody has ever tried to change someone, but it's impossible. Nobody can change a person except for God. So by knowing, if the question is, how do you know if they're the one? I wouldn't say that they're the one, but they can meet a certain criteria for you. So what I did before dating Daniel is I made a list of what I wanted in a... No, he's not everything, because he's not perfect, and neither am I. You'll never find somebody that checks off all your boxes, because are you perfect? No, exactly. So how would that work, right? So what I did was I wrote a list of things that I would want in a person, and he checked off most of those things. And yeah, that's what I think. Okay, wait, I have a question. Wow, guys, wow.
Can I say one thing on there?
Yeah. Okay.
Can I say?
Let me say
There's one question associated with this one. So it says, what's the point of marriage if the one doesn't exist? That's a great question for Daniel.
Oh. Good question, man. See, here's the thing. What's the point of marriage? Well, before I even get there, I'm going to go back and I'm going to get to that question. But what I'm going to say is this, is that it's not about looking for the one, but it's about becoming the one. If you can become somebody, the man and woman of God that God wants you to be, because your goal is not somebody else. Your goal is to be more like Jesus. And if you are pursuing God to become that one, you know what's going to happen is you're going to stop thinking about what you can get from somebody else in a relationship, and you're going to be starting to think about what you can give. This is a way different paradigm than we're used to hearing, right? Because we hear a lot of the times, oh man, I want someone, who's patient, someone that's, has someone that's not angry, you know what I mean? Somebody that I can build a family with, all these things, and we're like, I want this one, I want this from this person, I want this. But then we actually don't ever take the time to look at who we are right now and who we are on the inside. Because whatever you are on the inside, I promise you, when you come into that relationship, it's going to come out. So what God is wanting to do is he's actually wanting to change what's going on in here so that you begin to have this selfless love that he gives to you, that you can give that to somebody else. If you can receive that selfless love that comes from God, that unconditional selfless love that says, you know what, it's not about me, but it's about you. If you can receive that, then you're going to be able to give that to somebody else. I'm going to be able to give that to Sydney. I'm going to be able to think not just about what I want, but about what she wants. And then what begins to happen in that is that when you look for somebody like that, and actually she's being transformed and I'm being transformed, and then we come together, and then it's like, okay, what do you want? And she's like, what do you want? what is it that you need? And then what is it that you need? And we're constantly giving each other what each other needs. This is a relationship that's going to keep going. It's going to keep lasting, and it's never going to outlast because we're both wanting to be selfless towards each other. And this goes into that other question, where how do I know what's the point of marriage, right? Well, the point of marriage, actually, this is what's cool, is that, Jesus actually gave this example, and he gives this example, and he says to us, that we are, as a church, his bride, and that he are the bridegroom of the church. And he gives this example to us, and it sounds strange, but it's this incredible example of us, in complete relationship with him, in complete covenant with him. We're nothing else. This is the most powerful covenant because this means now that every promise that he has for us, we get, and everything that we have in our lives that we need to give, we can give to him. And it's this perfect union that begins to take place that nothing can break. Marriage is supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be this perfect union, this union between two that come together in covenant with God that nobody can break. And I'm going to give an example to you like this. Think about a fire. I want you to think about fire right now, okay? A fireplace, if I just have a match and if I set this pew on fire right now, if I set it on fire right now, do you know what's going to happen when I set this pew on fire? What's going to happen? Okay. I'll get charged with arson. Yes, I will. What else will happen? It will burn. A monster. Oh, yeah, okay. Well, it'll be a fire monster. That's what it will be. Well, what will happen is that it will spread uncontrollably and be unsafe to be in. But you know what marriage does? What marriage does is think about marriage as a fireplace, or you could think about it, that's a fireplace. Marriage is a fireplace. You have this fire that is now controlled. No longer, you can, as a matter of fact, you to enjoy it, but you don't get burned by it. You won't get hurt by it unless you put yourself in the fire. But the point is, it's controlled. No longer is it just spreading on its own and destroying things around it. And this is why God created marriage, because he wanted it to be this thing which is this safe place where you love, where the fullness of the love can be. And it can be in that perfect covenant. And when you have God in the midst of that, I want to tell you this, your life in marriage, if it was already reflecting God, together, oh my gosh, it's going to be more incredible. Because so much more you're going to be able to reveal Jesus, and so much more you're going to be able to grow together. And what begins to happen is actually the other person will begin to pull out things in your life that you didn't even realize were there that needed to go. So you can be the better man or woman that you needed to be. It's actually an incredible thing. So that's what I would say to answer that question. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Okay, so now we're going to move on to some more practical questions about dating, because I think there's some in there. So one that we just got was, it's kind of funny, sorry. How do you get your boyfriend to share his sweater with you? She said anonymous, well, that exposed herself. The question was, how do you get your boyfriend to share his sweater with you?
Is that the question?
That is the question.
Is that really
I think you could just ask. I think you could just ask for a sweater. Yeah. You have a question? Okay, guys, let's reel it in. Okay, if you are running around, please sit down. Boys in the back, please sit down. Guys, we're only going to do a couple more minutes. No, don't steal people's clothes. That's rude. We're only going to go for a couple more minutes because I think you guys are a little antsy pantsy. And then we'll do a couple more questions, and then Daniel and I can share our love story. Yeah. Ooh. Hallmark movie. Okay, there's one question. Is online dating okay? There's another question. How old do you need to be to date? Okay, boys in the back, can you reel it in, please? Thanks so much. Thanks, guys. Okay, actually, can everyone just stand up for a minute? and then just shake it out. Shake it out. Shake it. Just get those wiggles out. Daniel, stand up. Shake it out. Oh, wow. Wow, it's a lot of shaking. Good shaking, Daniel. Okay, you can sit back down. Okay. I know you guys were in school all day today, having a hard time focusing, but we're just going to go a couple more minutes, okay?
Also, we're kind of sitting. I think that's kind of part of it, too. Anyways.
Yeah. Okay, so one of the questions is, how old should you be to date? I don't know. What do you guys think? Just yell out some numbers. 14, 1, 22. When your parents tell you to, you're allowed, okay? Anybody else? If you think you're ready. When you think you're ready. You're ready? Okay. 16? Anybody else? Anybody else have a number other than 16? 4? 37? What? Okay, so 18? Okay. 17? 16? On your deathbed.
Oh my God.
You will lose out on love, my friend, if you wait until your deathbed. Okay, guys. Do you want to know the magic number? Okay, Daniel. What's the magic number? Bump my-
Magic number?
There's no magic number. Okay, guys. No, there's no magic number because there's a couple of different reasons why. First of all, if your parents tell you you can't date until a certain age, that's number one. And secondly, what Daniel and I recommend is that you shouldn't date until essentially you think you want to get married soon. Because you're just going to waste that person's time. I don't know. Daniel seems like he has a better answer than okay.
No, that's good.
Uh,
I want that.
he was like,
I think about it this way, all right?
you didn't look like you liked my answer.
No, that's not it at all. I want to think about it this way. If you don't work,
Ooh, yeah. Ladies.
all right, this is first thing. Secondly,
And men.
secondly, if,
Yeah, I just. Come on, guys. You need a job. Come on.
yeah, it's just his job. All right? Secondly, if you can't think past your 16-year-old mind, if you can't think into the future, okay? Another thing is just this. Simply put, I can't give you an age, but what I can give you is some guidelines, okay? Some guidelines is that if you're wanting to date somebody, all right, you should just be thinking more than just it being fun, okay? Because eventually, if you think that way, and you just go from one relationship to another relationship, those are pieces of your heart that have been broken again and again and again and again, that you've given away again and again and again and again. But I want you to know that you're valued so much more than that. You know what I mean? Your value is so much higher than that. And so when you look for, when you're looking at a relationship, I really want you to know that even the purpose that God had for a relationship was full commitment, was marriage, ultimately. And so when you look at that, it becomes more than just something, I'm just gonna have fun, right? But it becomes something where, all right, now I wanna actually commit to loving somebody forever. And the only way that it can happen is if you're actually in a mature place to do such, you know, and you're in a mature place to think in such a way, and you could say, you know what, I'm ready to give somebody everything. I'm ready to begin to work. I'm ready to begin to, I'm ready to begin to, start to build a life, build a home, and do these things. And so, actually have a vision in mind. If I want you to know, ladies, if a guy comes to you, all right, and they say, can I go out with you? And they have no plan, and they have no vision, it's time to just walk away, okay? I just want you to know that.
If their mother paid for your date, if their mom has to pay for your date, say no. Men, she can't make you something nice sometimes. Oh, we have a real question. Here, let's go.
Sydney? That's a good question. Here's the thing. Yeah, and that's a good thing that you have plans, right? But think about it this way. You know what the Bible says? The Bible says that actually the man is actually supposed to be a leader. It's supposed to be a head of a household. If he has no vision, if he has no plan, he can't lead. You know, if he has no vision and no plan, he can't lead you in the way that you're supposed to be led. He can't take care of you the way that you're supposed to be taken care of. You know, and so when you actually think about it that way, it becomes like, okay, so yeah, I might have a plan, but then if he's sitting on the couch all day, you know, that's going to cause conflict. That's going to cause a lot of issues down the road. You know, yeah. How do you ask them? That is a really good question. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think even the question was, you want to say the question?
The question was, how do you ask your parents if you're allowed to date? Assuming that you're not already doing it. Well, if you already are, then we'll answer both. Okay. That's a good question. I mean, if you feel like you're old enough and like, I don't know. Yeah, you should honor your parents for sure. My parents didn't give me a rule, so I gave myself a rule, but I am an odd person, so I like rules. But yeah, I would say just be honest with them and explain why you think you're ready, and if they don't think so, I would say to honor them. Does anybody else have any other questions? Boys? Boys? Do you have any questions? Bella has a question. Yes, Bella. How do you know if your best friend is going to be your best friend for life? I'll be your best friend for life, Bella. I don't know. That's a really good question. Who said that? Who said that? Who said that? Oh, that was a nice answer. He said your best friend is Jesus, which he is. I don't know. That's a really good question. I'm going to think about it and get back to you, okay? Josh, do you have a question? What's your question? Oh. We got a question about loyalty. Oh. Daniel, do you have any loyalty stories?
Well, here's the thing, all right? And this is also a piece of advice for all of you. If you like somebody, don't just go ahead and date them. Be friends. This is a good answer, and I want you to think about this earlier. Be friends. You know, the truth comes out in time. Right? And so as you begin to know them more as a friend, you begin to discover their character, and then you can actually begin to determine how loyal they will be, how patient they'll be, how selfless they will be, how caring, how loving, how responsible. You know, you begin to see these things with time. You won't, like for instance, you know, if Z, you know, if I just meet Z off the street, you know what I mean, and we just hang out, like I don't really know him that well. What's it gonna take? It's gonna take time, right? It's gonna take time hanging out. It's gonna take time talking. It's gonna take time discovering their interests, discovering their values, discovering what they care about, you know. And as you begin to figure these things out, you begin to say, okay, you know what? Yeah, this is going the right way, or no. And sometimes it's hard to do because of our emotions. And so it's actually, one of the things I would say to do is actually, in those moments where you know that you like someone, say, God, I give you my emotions right now. Because he knows how to handle them better than you do. And a lot of times we'll just respond, but he will know how to handle your emotions better than you do.
Maybe just tell them our story
Yeah.
and then do, like, just chill if they want
Sure.
to hear our story.
Yeah. All right, so who wants to hear our love story? Yeah.
Okay, come close, everybody. Come on.
Come up to the front row. Why don't you just come?
Wow.
Come right up.
Wait, no, on the pew.
On the pews. Yeah.
Yeah, get the tissues ready. Yeah? Best what of 2022?
Best ship of 2022. Yeah. So. Okay, so am I doing this? Am I starting this or are you starting this?
You.
Me starting this? Okay. I'll s- okay, I'll start.
Attention!
Okay?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, we do. We really do. Okay. So, hey. So, here we go. All right? So, I'm just starting with our relationship, right? Is that where I'm starting? Okay. Okay, so I'll start from 2015. How about that? Okay.
Maybe start a little bit from high school, though.
High school?
A little bit.
Okay, so I'll tell you guys a bit of my backstory, okay? So, for those of you who don't know my story, don't know my testimony, I'm going to speed through it to get to the point of our relationship so that way it makes sense. So, I grew up
Guys, listen, please.
single
My
mom.
husband's talking.
I grew up single mom in an abusive household for 7 years of my life. That actually brought a lot of, I guess, anger, fear, and a lot of things, hurt, so many things. Moving forward, as I was, you know, there was a couple things that I've made the right basketball, you know. So what happened was I didn't have that in my life, that positive male figure to the wrong people. So I turned to a lot of, so the first year of high school, actually, and on our basketball team, it was only me and my best friend that made the basketball team that were in grade 9. Everybody else was in grade 10. And we're sitting in the change room with everybody, and the team asked us this question, and they asked me, so are you a virgin? And I said, and we're both like, yeah, we are. And they're like, well, you won't be by the end of the year, you know? And so, me wanting to, show up my friends, my basketball team, I was like, I took that as a challenge, which wasn't good, because what it did to me was it actually not only destroyed me, but many other girls around me, And so my life, pretty much from my grade 9 and my grade 10 year, I went from one relationship to another relationship to another relationship to another relationship. And I was really just like, I was broken inside, and I also hurt a lot of others. And so I felt dirty, as a matter of fact. I felt unclean. I felt like, God, first of all, God wanted nothing to do with me. And, and then I felt as well in my own self, like, man, like, am I ever going to actually find a woman that will want me, like this, that will marry me like this? So anyways, time goes on, and I get saved at 16 years old, invited to a youth conference by an old friend, invites me to go, and I had this incredible encounter with God, completely transformed my life. And then I said, Jesus, I'm giving you everything. One of the hardest things to give him was that area of my heart, was the lust, was the wanting to be in a relationship, was just all these things. These were like the hardest areas of my heart to give to God. And so it took me on a journey where actually, for a couple of years, I didn't date anyone for a couple of years. And then in this journey, God was actually dealing with my heart, doing a lot of things in my heart. And then I compromised at one point and got into a bad relationship. It was really, really, really dark because I compromised, my values and what God wanted to do with me. And then fast forwarding there, 2015, 2016, I'm like, I finally get out of this relationship. It was really hard. And by the way, Sydney, this whole time was my friend. She was actually in the picture from the day I got saved. So this is what's crazy about this story, okay? Is that when I first gave my life to Jesus at that conference that I was at, she was standing right beside me.
We were both in high school.
We were both in high school. I was in grade 11, she was in grade 12, and she was standing right beside me, but I had no idea who she was. She was in grade 12, yeah. And I had no idea who she was. Like, but she was, and I didn't find out till later that she was standing beside me. And so anyways, she was going to the church, like a part of our church that was out here in Barrie, a daughter church of ours. And so I would, for conferences and stuff, I would see her every now and again. And so we were just like friends, and we were just, I knew Sydney, like I would just hang out. And
What did you actually call me though?
what did I call you? What did I call you? The white girl? No, I called her the white girl. Okay, this makes no sense in this context, but in the church I was at, she was the only white girl. Okay, so that's why in that context it makes sense. But then pretty much as time went on, she ended up starting to come to the church where we were at in Toronto, and she was on the worship team. So she was a worship leader there. And I was running a ministry at the time, an evangelism ministry. And then she just had decided that she wanted to help with this. So she just wanted to help, and I was like, okay, sure, like you can help, because I knew that she was good at like administration, organization, all that kind of stuff. So she came and she started to like help out, and as we started talking more and more, because she was part of it and she would help a lot. And pretty much just one day we were inside of our youth pastor's office, just like outside of the office, talking about just life and different things. And for some reason, like all of a sudden it was like my eyes just opened, and she felt the same way, but she didn't tell me anything. Is that right? Yeah. So she didn't tell me anything, and so we just went on, and then and I was talking to my youth pastor, and I was like, yeah, I really like this girl, but like I don't know what to do or how to do this the right way. He said, well, ask her if she likes you. And so I asked her, and she was like, well, duh. Because, I don't know, I guess, I was just oblivious the whole time. I didn't realize. And then pretty much, but one thing that we decided was we were going to, because I didn't want to be in another relationship that was just going to be destroyed. Like, I didn't want to be in another relationship just for the sake of being in another relationship. So what we decided to do was we decided to actually take time away from each other and fast and pray. And so we took 3 weeks just where we didn't talk to each other, fasted from each other, and we just prayed, and we were just asking God if this was what he wanted for us. And during this time, God actually began to show me a lot of things. He began to show me the value of what a woman is. And I'm going to share this one story because this is a cool example. I was sitting in the bus station across the street from an abandoned couch, okay? Like, it was just like a couch just chilling on the side of the road. And I was staring at this couch, and God began to speak to me about this couch. It made no sense, but it made sense. Because what began to happen was we're sitting in front of this couch, and I just have this whole thought in my head, like, okay, so think about it this way. When you go to get a couch, if you go to see a couch, and if you go in there and you just steal it, you just take it, somehow you take it out, you get to bring it home, you have it in your house, you're not going to treat it the same. Because why? Because there was no price to it. So like if something gets on it, if you get it dirty, it's like, well, you're going to have the same value to it as opposed to if you saved up your money, you worked really hard for it, and you actually went in there, and then you finally got the opportunity to buy it. And then when you actually bring that couch home, now it has so much value on it. You don't just want to take it for granted. You don't want to just, eat on it whenever, you want to actually value it. And this is what God was showing me. But then he said, this is how I want you to see relationships. And it was just like this moment for me where it was just like, this is crazy. Okay, well, I can't just take it. I actually have to show her that she's worth it. There's a value to her. And in this time, I was praying. I was just like, God, so what do you want? He's like, what do you want? Because at this point, my heart was ready for it. And so I said, yes, God, this is what I want. And so now I'm going to turn it over to you, because then there's a whole part of the story that you got to tell too.
And it'll be quicker. Sorry. Don't give as many details as Daniel. But actually, before we started dating, I had a dream of who my husband would be. And I didn't see his face. But in my dream, we were on a missions trip. And we were like building an orphanage or something. And in my dream, I was like so exhausted. And for anybody who knows Daniel, you know that he's like super extra and very encouraging and awesome. But in my dream, I was like, I just can't do this anymore. And my husband was like, no, you got this, you got this. And I didn't see his face. I saw his color, so I was like, okay. I mean, I'm not going to think too much into it because we were just friends. But anyways, then when we started dating, and I was like, whoa, God, that was really cool. Like, you kind of showed me who my husband was going to be. So anyways, after we started dating, we dated for a year, and we... Oh, right.
That's like the big part.
Oh, yeah, I asked God for a sign. And I was like, God, if you want me to date Daniel... Again, I told you guys I'd never been in a serious relationship before, and I didn't want to ruin our friendship or anything. I asked God, like, can you send me a sign? I want to see a sunflower. And I didn't think I was going to see one. I didn't have any expectation. But the moment I asked for that, I went on Instagram, and boom, I saw a sunflower, and I was like, I don't know, that's kind of just a coincidence. But then I was living in Toronto, and I'm from Baxter. Not sure if you guys know where Baxter is, but it's in between Angus and Alliston. And there's like 2 people who live there. So I moved to Toronto, and I'm on the bus, and I don't know what I'm doing, and I get lost, and I just got off at a random stop. And the stop that I got off, there was this massive sunflower garden, and I was like, okay, I'm still not buying it. So then I ended up on the subway that day, and I was like, okay, God, like, if you really want me to date Daniel, like, because it was Daniel. You know, it was like Daniel.
What
like.
does that mean?
Oh, what I mean by that? Sorry. What I mean by that is that we had been friends since we were like 16 and 17. And now at this point I'm 20, and I was like, Daniel? Like, Daniel? Like, I thought, he's cute and all, but like, Daniel? Like, really? Like, I don't know, God. Like, please make it clear. And then I asked him, this girl walked onto the subway with sunflowers in her hand, and I was like, okay, fine. I think, I believe you. So anyways, then we decided to start dating. We'll save this story for another time, but we had a lot of hardships, opposition from a lot of people around us and whatnot, but it was okay. We ended up dating for a year. Then he proposed to me on a waterfall. It was good. I'll show you guys pictures another day too.
Here's the thing. So there was actually many times where I tricked her. Okay, so like there was one moment where I took her to Niagara Falls because she knew it was coming, but she didn't know when. Okay, so we went to Niagara Falls, and we were at the falls, and so I just I went down. I was like, your shoe's untied. So I actually went down and I untied her shoe, bent down and tied it back again, and stood up. And she thought I was gonna propose to her, but I didn't. And then I did another.
That was the worst joke ever. He just kept doing those jokes to me. We have to hurry up, Daniel, because we're almost done, okay? If anybody wants a full, in-depth story, we will tell you one day. So anyways, we dated for 1 year. He proposed to me. Then we were engaged for a year because, again, we had lots of opposition coming our way. You know what I'm saying? It was okay. Then we got married, and sorry, there was no kids allowed. Sorry if anybody's offended by that.
Mostly because of the space. The space could only hold 95 people.
Yeah, if you were an OG YD youth person and you didn't get invited, I'm so sorry, everybody. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry, man. Yeah, sorry. You know what? You probably won't be there. And then, we got married in November of 2018, and we've been married ever since. And we have a cat child. She's fat and cute. Yep, Josh held her today. So guys, the moral of the story is wait for that person that God has for you. Because Daniel's situation, your situation might be like Daniel's. You may have slept with or dated a bunch of people.
Or even on the other side of that, I had many addictions I was struggling with. I had addictions, pornography, masturbation, things like that as well. That were strong addictions that I felt I could never get over, So
you might be in that boat, or you might be in another boat where you are afraid of boys and you don't want to talk to them like I was. And you know what? Honestly, I was like trying to protect my heart and their heart and whatever. Or you might be somewhere in the middle. But the moral of the story is God has someone great for you. It might not be the one, but he has someone for you. He is, and his plans are greater than ours. You can ask him if you're in a situation right now where you're thinking, God, is this a right decision to do? Do what I did. Ask him for a sign, and he will give you a sign.
And invite him into those thoughts, even just those thoughts. Don't just let him have part in that whole process in your heart, because you'll see him. He'll either lead you to run away, or he'll lead you to stay. And so let him be a part of that whole process, and give him room to work on you in the midst of that process too.
So yeah, guys, sorry, we didn't get through like a lot of questions, but we're out of time. And if anybody wants more information, you know where to find us, I believe. Yes. And we can hang out, and
So that's it for tonight, guys. We're glad that you could make it. So next week is next week's our small group night with both the guys and the girls. Okay, again. So, not together, but separate. Like, the girls will be in one place, guys will be in another place. Girls will be upstairs, guys will be down here. So we'll have that. You're not going to want to miss that. And then, as well, again, remember, if you want to join basketball, you guys can talk to me. And, by the way, now, everybody's allowed now, because all the mandates are dropping on March 1st. So basketball is now open to everybody. So, yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
Please clean up after yourself. Bye.
All right, guys. We love you guys. Take care. What were you going to say?
I was trying to show you guys. Oh my goodness. Whoa.
Oh, this is her too.
Bella, we gotta go.
Hi.
Bella.
Okay.
Oh, and then there's this one.
Bella, come on.
Oh. Okay. If your last name is Money, get out of here.
How dare you?
Sorry. Get out. If your last name is Webb, get out of here. Trying to find my engagement picture, but.
Here you go.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?